Last night, a jury, after deliberating only a few hours, they found Tulsa police officer Betty Jo Shelby not guilty. The charge that she was facing wasn't first degree, wasn't second degree murder, it was manslaughter. And the jury could not find it in themselves to find Officer Shelby guilty in the September 2016 killing of Terence Crutcher. We have the video. We're going to play the video, and you'll see not only are his hands up, not only is he unarmed, but there's enough distance between she and the victim to not warrant his execution. Let's watch the video.
A black male started towards them. They asked him to show his hands. He refused to follow commands given by the officers. They continued to talk to him. He continued not to listen and follow any commands. As they got closer to the vehicle, he reached inside the vehicle, and at that time there was a taser deployment, and then a short time later there was one shot fired.
Police say the man who was shot was in his 40s, but his name has not been released. The officers involved are on leave pending the outcome of an investigation.
So what we played there was a comparison of what the original police report stated versus the video. And in that short clip, you see how many times the original statement was, the original police statement was factually wrong. He was not resisting. He was not disobeying commands. He had his hands up. He was doing exactly what police officers were asking him to do. They said that he reached inside of a vehicle. That turns out not to be the case. And all in all, it ended up with his death. As with every single example of police killings, the very first thing they do, and by they, the police, and people who align with the police in every single one of these circumstances, the very first thing they do is to vilify the victim by bringing in information that has absolutely nothing to do with the current situation. We saw this with Michael Brown. We saw this with Tamir Rice. We saw this with in any number of cases, and this is no different. And so you saw the video yourself. His hands were up. He was following the instructions, and Officer Betty Jo Shelby felt it necessary for her to shoot Terence Crutcher. Not to relitigate the actual shooting, what's important at this point is that we've seen yet another example of a jury of our so-called peers not seeing the same thing that we see. Not able to find a police officer guilty for murdering a black person, a black man. Time and time again. I said it last night and I'll say it again. Justice in America is whatever they can contort themselves to justify. It's whatever they can get away with. And we've seen time and again that police officers can get away with murder. Had this exact scenario played out with a dog, Betty Jo Shelby would be in jail. But the value of the life of an animal is higher than a black person in America. So only after a few hours of deliberation, they found her not guilty. She was only charged with first-degree manslaughter, and they found her not guilty. The statement from Crutcher's father, Joseph Crutcher, he said, "Let it be known that I believe in my heart that Betty Shelby got away with murder, and I don't know what was in the mind of that jury." His twin sister, Terence Crutcher's twin sister, said, "It's clear that officers were covering for Shelby." It's clear that Terence was not the aggressor. I don't even know. This is not even a matter of explaining the details of the video anymore. This is not a matter of going through the timeline and showing how unreasonable the shoot was. It's not even about, it's simply about the fact that good luck in America getting a jury of your so-called peers to ever side on the side of a victim if that victim is black and the defendant is an officer. That's where we are. Because there's a narrative, a very consistent narrative that is promulgated in the United States of America that all police officers are heroes and all black people, if they get killed by the police, they earn that execution. That's the narrative. That's what we're faced with. And this is exactly what's played out here. The officer was fearful. She was afraid for her life. And this is what Professor Eddie Glaude said when I spoke to him from Princeton University a couple of weeks ago. He said, what the hell are you doing, a police officer, if you're so damn scared that you're trigger happy at every turn? Every time something happens, you're trigger happy. You have to shoot your way. Why are you a police officer if you're that afraid of a person who's unarmed with their hands up? The fact of the matter is that we put guns in the hands of people who are terrified little children, or they have huge egos and want you to acquiesce to every one of their demands, no matter the circumstances. We have a police force that is not there. Can I state the obvious? I'm going to state the obvious. We have a police force that is not there to protect and serve everyone the same. Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin, she issued a statement that said, those who disagree with the verdict have a right to express their opinions. I just ask that they do so in a peaceful manner. And as reasonable of a request as that sounds, you have to ask yourself, what are people supposed to do? Videos don't make any difference. Videos only serve to expose the problem even more. Right? The problem already existed. It pre-existed cell phone and social media, the era of social media. It pre-existed. We're just now seeing the scope and the scale and coming to terms to the reality. The reality that this happens so often. And yet, even in the presence of a video, we can't get a guilty verdict. We couldn't get a guilty verdict in the Michael Slager case, where he shot and killed, shot the man running from him 6 times in the back. And yet this jury could not bring themselves. There was one person on the jury who could not bring themselves to find the officer guilty. That is because in America, our officers are always the hero, and the person who they had to slay and the person that they had to kill, even if it was a 12-year-old playing in a park, the person that they had to kill was a barbarian. And so long as that narrative persists in America, good luck ever finding true justice, because justice is whatever they can justify.